Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another video from TW White & Sons Mazda. Taken in part exchange late yesterday evening. Here we have a CX-30. Now this is the Sport Luxe model, and this has got the SKYACTIV-X engine. Now this is the latest incarnation of the SKYACTIV-X engine, producing 186 PS. Yeah, so not to be confused with the earlier cars, and it will have the E before the SKYACTIV-X. So this is the super efficient engine. Nothing wrong with the 122 SKYACTIV-G. That's also super efficient, but this is very efficient, and it works by like better atomization off the fuel, a lean burn. And it's also helped along with a compressor, so what's sometimes known as a supercharger. So the car is super efficient. It's got a little bit more power than the other cars, and this is an automatic. Now, with all our cars, I always like to give a little bit of background on them, where they've come from. Okay, now we are situated in Orpington, which is very close to Mazda's head office in Dartford. Now, Mazda have a employee scheme and a friends and family scheme. So we get a lot of business from the surrounding area, where people that work at the Dartford office have got friends around here. There are a couple of other Mazda dealers, of course, who I'd imagine get their fair share. But we get quite a few people buying cars. Now, they are allowed to buy a car every 9 months. So some of their customers, this particular customer especially, she'll buy a car every year. As soon as the car's due a service, she'll change her car. So she picked up a car yesterday. This car she collected in January 2021. Okay, so it's round about a year old, so it'll still have the balance of the 3-year warranty, so about 2 years, and roadside assistance. And obviously the car will have its first service. Now it's presented in machine grey. It's got the dark cloth seats. Being the SKYACTIV-X engine, it's got the sunroof, and it's in lovely condition, as you can imagine. We haven't actually cleaned the car. Obviously we should do before photos, but this is how the car has come to us. But we will give it more of a clean when we have the time, which will be in the next couple of days, hopefully. So if we start at the boot, now the Sport Luxe has a power tailgate. Okay, now the car has mats. I took these out of the footwells to give them a quick clean, but they are the original mats, and they'll go back in the car. And you've got this good rectangular boot, so good sort of loading area. No sort of wheel arch humps to sort of get in the way as you load something in, but you could get a nice big, for example, dog crate in there, prams, push chairs, all the bits and pieces. And if you need more room, you've got a 60-40 split rear seat, and the parcel shelf can pop out. To open and close this boot, you can press the buttons, so you can do it manually, or you can do it on the key fob, which is useful because if you've got your, I don't know, scenario, your hands full of shopping, and one hand with shopping in, the other hand got your a little one in your hand, pressing that button just makes things a lot easier. Oh, and I forgot to, on the topic of shopping, something that I find particularly useful. Oh no, I'm getting confused with another car. I do apologise. But yeah, so that tailgate, excellent, really excellent feature. I used to think it was a gimmick, but not so much now. I find it very useful. I don't know if this car has really been used in the rear. You've got ISOFIX anchorages on the 2 rear outer seats. Headlining's in great shape. Got your sunroof. You've got vents in the back. You've got an armrest. It's all really lovely. Now, we have a real following for our CX-3, the predecessor to this, which was often criticised for the small boot, but we have a huge following, especially a used car following, and people wish that we still produce them. This is ever so slightly bigger, so we've kind of accommodated for both customers. We got, you know, the smaller CX-3 and the people that, you know, sort of needed a bit of a bigger boot. You've got this car here, which is actually based on a Mazda 3, so it's just bigger all round, but the boot is particularly bigger. You've got LED lights, you've got parking sensors at the front, at the rear, you've got a camera at the rear. The lights are adaptive, they're amazing. I'll run through that when we get in the car. So let's start on the inside, and I just want to refresh my product knowledge. Yes, so you've got smart keyless entry system. So I've just walked away from the car. I haven't pressed any buttons on the key fob, and the car has locked itself. As I approach the car, the keys are in my left hand, but the car has detected that, unlocked itself, allowed me to open the car. Wing mirrors have folded out. And that's a really slick system. It was a bit clumsy on the early cars, because on the early, I'm not talking CX-30, on the early Mazdas, they first started a keyless entry. I think it was back in about 2008 on the Mazda 6, the high-spec Mazda 6s, and they never really worked properly. But this is a slick system. It's really been perfected. So I'm going to start the car up now. It's an automatic car. You put your foot on the brake. This will light up green. This start-stop button, engine start-stop button, just to say, look, I understand the keys in the car. Okay, lights up green. Push the button. Car fires into life. Now, for those of you eagle-eyed people out there, service soon. You'll see the spanner light on the photographs I've taken. The car is due a service right now, so that will be done. It'll have its first year service. Okay. And then next year, when it needs a service again, the spanner light will come on and it will say service required. Right, so you've got a heads-up display, okay? Now, that's something that you only ever got on the sort of top-spec cars. Now, these are sort of going through the range, pretty much on all the models. It's adjustable. I'll show you how to adjust it in a minute, but it will have the speed you're doing, the speed limit. It will give you warnings. If you're using the sat-nav, it will give you basic sat-nav directions. Obviously, the more comprehensive one will be on here. Really good feature. If you imagine, you know, you're only going to be looking ahead rather than down for your speed or for any other warning, okay, or speed limit, etc. So a safety feature that I can imagine will be around and will maybe become a compulsory thing, just like ABS did, you know. And I think a lot of cars now are coming with smart city braking, which this has got, and I'll explain a little bit later on. You've got cruise control, but this is adaptive cruise control. Okay, so you set your cruise control on 70, car in front's doing 70, that car slows down, this car will slow down. Okay, and then when that car speeds up, this car will speed up. So far better suited for UK roads, or dare I say it, European roads. Whereas cruise control, I think, you know, when it first sort of came out, it was for those long roads in America, for example, where you don't see anyone for miles and miles and miles. So I'd say much better suited, something that I use a lot. And with automatics, it's brilliant because it will slow down till the car stops, and providing you're not stopped for too long, it will then pull away again as the traffic moves on. So it's really good in traffic. Okay, so covered that. Now, climate control, very important today because it's freezing. It's dual zone, or you can sync them. You've got heated seats, 3-stage. Even though the seats aren't leather, they are heated. All right. Quick dimmish front screen, and this panel's nice and easy to use. Now, because this is the later model, they deleted the CD player. Okay, so they deleted the CD player, but you get a slightly cleaner engine and a slightly more powerful engine. You've got 6 PS, which is about 5.5 horsepower more. Okay, so if you're looking at a car of this age and you think, oh, it's cheaper, or it's this, that, and the other, or indifferent, if it's got a CD player, it's the older model. All right. Now, this car has a 6-speed gearbox. It's traditional in the sense it's seamless and it doesn't roll back on hills, but it's modern in the sense of it's quick changing. very responsive, it's 6-speed, and it's super reliable. We never have any problems with our gearboxes, touch wood. Now, when I say a traditional sense, and the reason I want to emphasise this is we have a lot of people asking, does that car have a proper automatic gearbox? Now, there's lots of different variations of gearboxes out there, and a lot of the ones that are sort of focused on fuel efficiency are kind of a hybrid manual automatic gearbox, and they can lurch, they can roll back on hills, they're not as smooth, and they can be a bit complicated to start. Even Mazda years ago employed one of those gearboxes. It was called the ASM, Auto Shift Manual, and we had to give people sort of a lesson on how to drive, start these cars. I think Ford had the same. That's when Mazda and Ford had an allegiance together, and Ford had the same in the Ford Fusion. So this is seamless in the traditional sense, but great in all other senses in terms of super fuel efficient, you know, 6-speed, etc, etc. Okay, so we've covered the gearbox. Now this here is your radio. You can control your smartphone, entertainment, navigation, and your settings. Now to operate that, you've got this here, the human interface, okay, with some quick keys here. Once you get used to using it, it's an absolute doddle, and you'll never look down to use it. So it's safe. You can look at the road, you won't look down. It's it becomes like your, I don't know, it will become very natural to you. Now, so if I go to the home screen, okay, you can have the clock or these menus. So information, that's stuff like fuel efficiency monitor and bits and pieces like that. Okay, now this car, literally I reset it and come down here, so it's showing 24 to the gallon, but this car will do, when I was driving, I've driven this, if I drive this on the motorway at 70, I'd get close on 60 miles to the gallon, which is sort of diesel MPG. Okay, and that's kind of how it works. It's a compression ignition. It's very, very clever, and please do go on YouTube and have a look at SKYACTIV-X and see how that works, and it will give a better explanation with some nice illustrations. So entertainment, now we've got Bluetooth. Now my phone's paired up with this car, so I hope it doesn't ring, and I can access, I think I sometimes listen to like YouTube documentaries and music, and you can do that through your phone. Obviously if you've got Spotify, etc., you can do that as well. Source list, so my phone is one of them. Then you've got FM, AM, DAB, yeah, you've got USB 1 and 2. The USBs live in here. Oh no, there's one in here, sorry, I do apologise, one there, and there's one down there. All right, you've also got an SD card that lives in here, which reads the data for the sat nav. Okay, so DAB, for those of you who haven't had a DAB, you'll get loads of variation. Look at this, I'll show you. The channel list is unreal, something for everyone from all parts of the world. I'm sure every genre can be found on here, and for you sports fans, you can listen to TalkSport with clarity. All right, so loads of channels, but you've got the traditional FM, AM, yeah, and the USBs, I've never tried this, but the USBs actually say for audio and video. Not actually tried that. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back to the home screen. Entertainment, so communication, so the phone's paired up. My phone's paired up to this car, so you can access the call list, my contacts. It will read my text messages to me, and when my friends found out that our cars could do this a few years ago, I was getting inundated with texts that they thought were very, very funny. So that will only work if you've got an Android phone. Okay, navigation, you've got a really comprehensive navigation system. All right, you put your pin number in, you put your postcode in, it's dead easy, and off you go. You can save, you know, your favorites, etc., so you can get to them a lot quicker. But you can also whittle it down by town and street if you don't know the postcode. And you've got, oh, look at this, so POA, P point of interest categories. So the previous owner, I think, was a McDonald's fan, and well, everyone needs a petrol station and restaurants. So let's see, there's a McDonald's just round the corner. There you go, Sevenoaks Way. All right, and it will give you all the McDonald's. So that's a bit dangerous for someone like me who likes their food, but I'm not a fan of McDonald's. Right, so here we go. So that's your sat nav there. In the settings here now, there's lots in here. So in vehicle displays. So remember I mentioned the heads-up display. Look, you can adjust it. You can adjust that there. Height. Look at this. Look. You can adjust the height, the brightness, the tilt. So you can do that all there. Okay. Center display. You can turn it off. You can turn it on. You can change the brightness, or you can leave that to the auto settings. All right. There's lots in here. Sound settings. It's got a fabulous sound system, and I know some people would say, "Oh, I want the GT model, the Sport GT Sport model, because it's got the Bose stereo." The Bose stereo is wonderful. However, I would not say any of the stereos in our Mazdas have been bad for years, and this is really, really good. No need to upgrade the stereo, I'd say. Safety settings. You've got driver assistance system, so you've got radar cruise control, traffic sign. Speed limit sync, so you can sync that to the speed limits, yeah, because you've got this very clever adaptive cruise control. Audible cruise confirmation, speed limit sign alert, speed limit threshold, driver attention alert. So believe me or not, you'll be driving along and you might start thinking, oh, maybe it's time to stop, stretch my legs, have a coffee or a cup of tea, whatever you enjoy, and the car will come up, take a break. It'll actually tell you, because there's a camera in here, not watching what you're doing, but it will actually monitor your facial expressions, and it will pick up on that and warn you to take a break, which I think is fantastic. A bit spooky though, especially in the car on your own. Right, so active safety. Let's have a look here. Oh, see, look, there was a phone call there, but I can't let it spoil my video. Distance and speed alert, lane keep assist system. So the car will keep you in lane within the white lines, okay? The steering wheel will move. You'll feel it sort of moving to keep you in those lanes, which is great on the motorway. All right. Now, I'm not saying do this. If you take your hands off the wheel, the car will correct you twice, and then it will come up on here, hold the steering wheel. So good, all good stuff there. Collision avoidance, smart city braking, yeah, and you can change the sensitivity. So if I roll towards that wall when I'm doing under 20 miles an hour, the car will apply the brakes, providing I'm not turning, braking, accelerating. Okay, so that's great. That will hopefully give you a nice insurance premium. I mean nice as in low. Because it is recognised by insurers that a lot of accidents happen at low speed, like you're in traffic, you roll too close to the car in front where you're, I don't know, stop-start traffic, and you're looking out the window and you're distracted. Vehicle settings, door locks, etc, etc. Yeah, you can do all that there. Connectivity settings, Bluetooth, smartphone. So you can mirror your apps onto here and control them via this here, you know, and then you could use the navigation system program of your choice. You know, I know a lot of people like using Google Maps or Waze, and I know there's lots of others. You can access Spotify, WhatsApp, etc. Okay, so I'm not going to go any more into that because I'm mindful we're 19 minutes into the video and you're probably falling to sleep. Just want to say, so we know the previous owner, they have a car every year. The car will have the balance of the warranty. It's done 9,366 miles, okay? And it's, you know, it'd be like buying a demo car that only one person has actually ever driven. And I think the real plus points are the condition and the mileage, and it's the 186 SKYACTIV-X engine. So you're getting the newer engine, and it's got a lovely, lovely spec, and it's super quiet. If you've not driven one of these later, so the new 3, the new CX-30, you'll notice they are a lot quieter than the other models. Not that I'm knocking the other models, but they are so much quieter. Okay. Part exchange is extremely welcome, even if you don't have a Mazda. Please check out our website and you'll see that we are retailing lots of cars other than Mazdas and Suzukis, but we find a home for all of them. So I know you hear a lot out there. Every time I turn the TV on, I listen to the radio, put your reg number in, get a price in 5 seconds and and get a better deal. You will get the best deal part exchanging with us. Please do your research on your car, pricing, etc. There's plenty of resources out there to do that, to make sure that you're being treated fairly. We want you to be happy, but please do come to us. We will do you the best deal with a part exchange. We've got fantastic finance facilities, okay? And we have the ability, we have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The facility to extend the warranty further than the 2 years that are remaining on the vehicle. Car will be validated and it will have its first year service. So this service soon and spanner light will no longer be there. Now, if there's any more photographs or videos you'd like us to send you, please do not hesitate to ask. It's no bother. It really is no bother. We're here to help and we want you to have an enjoyable experience. And do try us at any time of day. I would only have time in the evenings out of work to look for cars for myself, and it'd be nice if I could get some sort of response at those hours. So please do try us. You can call and leave a voicemail. We will return the voicemail, the call, or send us an email and we'll respond as soon as we can. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope I've not bored you, because this has been 21 minutes now, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Bye bye.